Hey guys, I'm just going to do a quick review of Zombi U. I want to let you know this is actually, in my opinion, the 2012 game of the year for me. I was surprised to see some of the negative reviews, but then again, I tend to like games that maybe weren't so popular with some of the critics. You know, Steel Battalion I thought was another great game. In fact, I would probably give that in my probably my top 10 games of the year. But anyway, I would say this is the best game I've played all year. It's a survivor horror game. It's more like Resident Evil. I'm just showing you that I've completed the game. You can tell that it took me a while. I lost 28 people in mine and played for about 15 hours. So you can tell I played the game. I haven't really played a lot of multiplayer. It's only local only, so kind of a disappointment. But anyway, I'm just gonna proceed here and just play the multiplayer stuff, but there's no storyline spoilers or anything like that. Alright, that's good enough. There's only local multiplayer, by the way, so it's kind of a letdown in my opinion. But what are you gonna do? There should have been online. There are some online modes in Zombi U. People do come into your game, your friends, and they're actually rather annoying. They usually go in your safe house, and you have to kill them. But you can take their items, which really makes the game a little bit more special than your average game. So that really kind of, I think, makes it a unique mode, and so it's neat to see. So basically, this is the multiplayer. The graphics really are nothing to write home about. Yeah, you can tell, honestly, this is pretty much what the single player looks like. It's more survival horror than, say, Resident Evil 6. And it's funny that some of the reviewers didn't like the game because a lot of your games played with a cricket bat. It's kind of silly, sort of a disappointment, but the reason you do that is because you're supposed to play conservatively. It's a survival horror game. Again, it's not meant to be. I'm actually just remember trying how to get to my gun back, but whatever. It's not meant to be a run and gun kind of game. This is not Left 4 Dead. This is not Resident Evil. This is Zombi U. It's a different type of game. You use the tablet. It acts as your sonar, and once you get your first upgrade, one of the nice things is the sonar will actually go by itself, and it adds a lot of suspense because you're going to pick up these red dots, and in these red dots you're going to also pick up crows and other things beyond just zombies. So there's a lot more intensity to the game. You know, you're going to pick these things up, and also it doesn't pick up zombies laying down that may still be alive or undead, whatever you want to call them. So that's going to add a lot of intensity. You really do have that aspect that you're very vulnerable. And when you die, of course there's a survival mode where one death and you got to completely restart. I haven't even attempted that. It's the same mode though as the regular mode. And when you die, you're actually going to have to come back as another survivor who unfortunately kind of has a backstory, but it doesn't really explain, so I feel like that was a missed opportunity. But anyway, as this survivor, you have to go back and you have to find the person you were who's zombified and get their items. And, you know, you really want to do that because you're only going to start back with a pistol with 6 shots, which really doesn't do anything. And also, you've lost your experience. You get experience per the gun you fought with. You've lost all that. So you're basically stuck with the pistol and your cricket bat. The cricket bat is your only melee attack. You can kind of push them with it, or you can line it up and hit them with it. A lot of people complain about that. I kind of like it. You got to be real careful with it. You're not going to fight a crowd of people. You are not invincible in this game. You're very vulnerable. There are other guns. You have AK-47s, various assault rifles, shotguns, snipers, a Magnum. So you have additional options, and you have flares, which will bring the zombies towards the flare. You have Molotov cocktails, grenades. You have what they call it, it's like a vaccination. Basically, you can hit them with some kind of like zombicide or something it's called, and that's kind of like a bailout. But you're very vulnerable. You do have a health bar, and it depletes, and you can eat food or whatever to get it back up. But that will not just necessarily mean that until it goes low, you're going to become a zombie. They can grab you and turn you into a zombie at any time, so I think that kind of makes it pretty neat. And I like that. it really adds an element of surprise to the game. It is very difficult. I'm just trying to figure out real quick. I'm gonna try and spawn a zombie here. So bear with me. I don't know if I have or haven't. I'm just playing with the tablet real quick. But your tablet also acts as an object scanner, similar to Resident Evil Revelations, which, to be honest with you, was the last survival horror game I've actually ever played. And so it was more, basically less Resident Evil 6 and more a standard style survivor horror game. So it acts as your scanner. You can scan it to get zombies, objects, food, items, whatever. And you also need it to solve various puzzles. There are puzzles to the game. I think that kind of makes it pretty special, in my opinion. So you have your puzzles. You have to use the scanner to sometimes line up images and stuff. But the game can be somewhat challenging. Some of the puzzles are not obvious. You have to find these manholes, which are basically your save points. You go back to the save house. There are about, I think it's like 5 or 6 locations, and you kind of do backtrack. It reminds me a lot of Metroid Prime, but the intensity of the game is really there. The opportunity that you're going to die at any time, you do feel vulnerable. One of the best examples I can think of is in the nursery. I don't want to ruin anything. It's one of the reasons I'm playing this. It's multiplayer to walk around. But man, that nursery is intense. There's a real great scene there. Unfortunately, there are some serious bugs with the game. That really holds the game back. And to the best of my knowledge, Ubisoft's only released one patch, and I think that was to add Miiverse on day 1. So I don't know what's going on with Ubisoft. You got a great game here. You got a great IP. Support it, you know. And also, there's no online multiplayer. They said there's only local, and really the modes are limited. There is a Uplay additional mode. I haven't bought it yet with the Uplay points, but it's there. You can also use Uplay to customize your cricket bat. But basically, the things that really hold this game back, my only real negative complaints, are basically the graphics are okay at best. Honestly, this is a Wii U exclusive. I expected the game to look a little bit better than it does. It looks okay. The lighting's great. It does have a moodiness. The sound's good. I really do like, you know, the overall look and feel of the game, but I think the graphics could have been better. You can tell this was sort of a rush job or just ready for launch. The integration with the tablet's the best on the console. It even beats Nintendo Land. You really, if you have a Wii U, you got to try this game at the very least, just to see how the tablet could be used as the scanner. You can use the right joystick to move around, but it's more fun to kind of move it all around using the gyro. The only thing I can relate it to is maybe Metroid or Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS. And this is there's only been 2 survivor horror games I think that were good this year, Resident Evil Revelations and this. And this beats the pants off Resident Evil Revelations, which I thought was a great game. Ubisoft did a great job with this. This is an awesome survivor horror game. You feel the intensity. You feel that you're vulnerable at all times. It is a really fun game. You will be hooked. Towards the end, it does kind of get a bit monotonous. I didn't really like the ending of the game. And there are 3 possible endings. Just to let you know, I don't want to ruin the game, but basically I didn't make it on mine. But the last hour of gameplay or whatever is pretty intense. That actually feels more like a shoot 'em up than any other point. But for the most part, it's basically Resident Evil in first person, and they did a wonderful job with it. And it's far more Resident Evil than Resident Evil 6 ever was. You know, I got to give this a score. The only things that really hold the game back, like I said, poor graphics and no online gameplay are really my big problems. I felt the ending could have been a little bit better in certain missions, but it's a great game. It's a great start to the Wii U, and like I said, it's my favorite game of the year. I'm actually going to give this game a whopping 9 out of 10. And I don't give many games a 9 out of 10. Great game. Thanks for watching. This was John.